Hundreds of thousands of white British girls are being raped under the grooming gangs in Britain. Sad thing is, we don't even know how many girls are being affected because government turned blind eye, police turned blind eye, social service turned blind eye, and child protection service turned blind eye. When people turned blind eye, Pakistani Muslim men stepped in to abuse the girls, rape them, put them in prostitution, make money off them, and abuse them. Even though on the media it is Asian grooming gangs, actually no, 84% of them are Pakistani Muslim men. Sadly, topic is identified as controversial. Seems in 2025, when you care about kids, it becomes controversial and you identified as or you labeled as far-right Islamophobe. But I would like to put it in a context for those individuals who live in La La Land and thinks denial is a river in Egypt. I would like to answer the question whether these grooming gangs, these rape gangs has anything to do with Islam. I will bring attention to the Quranic verses as well as the lifestyle of groomers to see if their action represents Islam at all. Surah 98 verse 6 identifies non-Muslims as the worst of creatures. You are worse than a dog, you are worse than a cockroach, you are worse than a pig, you are worse than a rat. If you are non-Muslim, you are worst of the creatures. Surah 3 verse 32, Allah expresses that He does not love non-Muslims. So if you are not a Muslim, you are not loved by Allah. Of course, Surah 65 verse 4, Allah with His divine wisdom expresses that it is alright to have sex with a child who is not bleeding yet, and you can even divorce them. Allah in Surah 33 verse 59 expresses that women must cover, otherwise they will be abused. Ibn Kathir steps in and then expresses that uncovered women are seen as whores, therefore they can be molested. Surah 24 verse 33, Allah will forgive those men who put the girls into the prostitution. Don't do it, but if you do it, Allah will forgive you. Of course, Surah 4 verse 24, your right hand possesses. Allah allowed taking women and girls as captive so that men can use them however they wanted. Those are the divine sayings of Allah. How Allah views non-Muslims and then give right to the Muslims over non-Muslims. Let's look at the lifestyle of groomers, these rapists. It's been expressed that they regularly attend the mosque for prayer. What does that show us? That tells us their devotion to the Islamic teachings. It's been expressed that during the Ramadan, these groomers, these rapists, do fast. What does that show us? That shows us their commitment to the Islamic practices. Girls are being called Kathir. Girls are being identified as dirty lollipops. What does this show us? That highlights the view of Muslim men for non-Muslim women. So what we have here? We've got groomers, rapists, who are engaging in grooming activities, raping activities, while practicing Islamic teachings. Indication of that, their actions are not separated from their faith. After reading the Quranic verses, looking at the lifestyle of the groomers, it becomes very difficult to think it has nothing to do with Islam. Actually, looking at the Quranic teachings, looking at the life of the groomers, hearing the testimonies from the victims, it becomes evident that their actions are not misrepresentation of Islam, but rather it is practice of Islam. It is embodiment of it. Connection between Islamic teachings and the grooming gangs in Britain, rape gangs in Britain, is undeniable. So individuals who think it has nothing to do with Islam, you need to move out of your La La Land. You need to stop thinking that denial is river in Egypt and then come to the reality. These Pakistani Muslim rape gangs, grooming gangs are simply embodiment of Islam, and you cannot deny it. You need to address the problem. Problem is Islam and the ones who are following Islam, for the sake of your children, for the sake of our future. So, while hundreds, thousands of girls are being raped under the grooming gangs in Britain by Pakistani Muslim men, does it have anything to do with Islam? Yes, it does.